Hey guys, and welcome back to my True Story Tuesday. My name is Nelly, and I am so glad that you are here. True Story Tuesday, I will be talking about a relationship that was perfect to unfortunately ending in domestic violence. I will be sharing my experience, my story from beginning to end, and as I keep uploading the videos, they are going to become a little bit heavy. So if you have to click out or pause the video, I totally understand. It can be super triggering. If you're someone that's gone through a domestic relationship or is going through one and you don't know where to find a community, then I keep on watching because I made this one for you. Or if you're someone that knows someone else that's in a current toxic relationship and you just don't understand why they can't walk away, I'd also keep on watching because maybe through my story, you'd be able to understand. And understanding is one of the biggest compliments you can ever tell someone. Now, in my last video, we talked about the first stage of my relationship, which was basically being on cloud nine. Everything was great. Everything was simple. It was smooth. If there was a problem, we fixed it right away. I mean, it was perfect. You know, I was head over heels, and basically I was charmed. So now in this second stage of this relationship, I then started experiencing isolation. And isolation started off slowly, but gradually it became more aggressive. So the first steps or the first things that I was being told to do was I had to unfriend certain people on Facebook. I had to erase certain numbers or block certain people, or not even, I couldn't even be like social media friends with them, right? That's how it started. It all started through social media. Even got to the point where Riley would go into my phone without my permission, and then, but secretly, like behind my back. I didn't know he was doing it. I didn't realize that he was doing it until I would try to find those people to connect with, and they were not there. They were just not my friends anymore. And at that time, when he gave me his explanation as to why he deleted the person, I honestly didn't even think anything of it. In my mind, I was making the right sacrifices, or I was accommodating to him or to this relationship because he was my partner. Slowly, that transferred from media to persons. Was I not allowed? I don't like saying that I was allowed, but basically that's how it was. I mean, I wasn't allowed to talk to these people now, not only on social media, but in person. He was just like, no, you're not talking to this person. No, you're not going to dance with this person. No, I don't like this person. Could you just not? And when he started with the physical or in-person isolation, he wasn't aggressive with it. He was very smooth and very subtle with his explanation. And then I'm sitting there accepting what he's telling me to basically do, or what I shouldn't do, because I was just so like, okay, yeah, that's what we do in relationships. Like, that is just how it made me feel. I mean, at least that's how his explanations made me feel. And also, not to mention that he already knew so much about me that he would use his explanations against me. For example, I love to make people feel understood and accepted and comfortable with who the person is. Growing up in the kind of environment that I was in, I knew that compared to a lot of my friends, I had a lot of advantages because of the way that in my home, well, at least with my parents, it was a very different situation. It was very supporting, very loving, very accepting, very free. And so I knew that once I stepped out of the second floor of where I lived, it was no longer like that for my friends outside in my neighborhood. I would always make it very clear, like, if you need me, I am here. If you need my home, it is here. My doors are always open. And the funny thing is that they were literally always open, but that's just, my friends knew that. And I transpired that into the 23rd-year-old Nelly. I took that with me, and I saw someone that had just gone through a really messed up situation in his life. And I told him the same thing. I wouldn't even hesitate to drop whatever I'm doing and go and help you or be there for you. And all those things that I would tell him, he would literally started using those things against me, and I didn't even realize that that's what was happening. I want to think that his plan wasn't ever to hurt me physically, but to just kind of have some kind of control in his life because of what recently happened. Going back to the person isolation, he started saying certain things like, I need you, or I'm not really feeling so well, or I'm just having a really hard day and I need someone to talk to. He was really good. And I was falling for that. Long enough where I didn't even notice, long enough that in the future when I started standing up to myself and I realized that what he was doing was not okay, he was, shocked. I'm gonna tell you these 3 little short stories. Here's the first story. I come out of the bathroom and he's already in my room. And that's one of the things that he took advantage of. I told him my house will always be open if you ever need anything. Well, he took advantage of that in the sense where he would just show up unannounced, not even text me a heads up. Like, just give me a heads up. Like, that's what I would just ask for, a heads up. You don't really have to ask to come over, but just like, hey, I'm on my way. Hey, is there anything that you need? But he wouldn't do that. He would just literally show up. And this one day he was in my room already upset and kind of skittish, and I could tell. And then he grabs my phone. He says, oh, before you look at your phone, just don't really take anything personal. And I said, okay, what do you mean? He goes, well, because I thought something happened to you and I was really worried and I started calling you and texting you. Okay, sure. I grabbed my phone and sure enough, it was about 20 to 34 missed calls and messages. I was like, what the heck is wrong with you? I blew up a little bit. Shoot, I was like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, can I not even take a shit in peace? Literally, that's what I was doing. I was taking a shit and I had already missed 20 calls to 34 missed phone calls. And you know what his explanation was? That he was worried, that he didn't know where I was at, that things could happen to me, and that he just wants to make sure that I was safe. And not only on top of that, later on, my brother tells me that he called him asking, hey, where's Nelly? Where's Nelly? Is she okay? Then my mom told me that he texted her asking the same thing. Hey, where's Nelly? Where's Nelly? And then the friend that he told me that he didn't like, he also messaged that friend and asked her if I was okay. That's not okay. And I didn't see that. I don't know why that didn't click in my head. Like, okay, this is something that I need to fix right away before it gets worse. Okay, that's one story. Second story, really quick. Always very handsy, right? He was a very handsy kind of person. Anything he would see, he's like, oh, I'll do this, I'll fix this. Really, he was very resourceful when it came to that, which was I was really grateful for. So, he goes into my room and he's like, hey, can I paint your room and, remodel it and all that stuff? And I said, okay, sure. If that's what you want to do, I don't mind. He's like, okay. And he was such a goal setter that he literally finished that in a couple of hours. I'm going to hang out with 2 of my girlfriends and I'll see you, tomorrow or something. Well, his way, he thought that if he would have came over that day to start my room, that I was going to stay, which I normally would have. I'm not going to lie. I remember even my mom was upset. She was like, why are you leaving? He's here and he's doing something for you, Nelly. You need to be more appreciative. But she didn't know what I was going through already. Starting to realize that you're using my core values against me to make me do things that I don't want to do, that I don't feel comfortable doing. So what does he do? He shows up with the paint and the rollers and a mat for the floor and all these things, and he's just measuring things. And I said, okay, and he bought me the blinds. He just did everything, which was so nice to see. But I already knew that was gonna come with a price of I had to listen and do whatever he told me to do. And I remember, and I looked at him well, I had already planned this day with my girlfriends, so I'm gonna get going. He says nothing. I get over to my friends And literally, I couldn't even enjoy a time with my friends because then he's texting me. And my friends are getting annoyed with me, which I totally understand. But at that point, I was still, even though I was still like standing up for myself in a way, I was still covering up for him. And I was still giving him excuses because I was so worried. Like, I don't want my friends to dislike you. I don't want my friends to not, accept you. I don't want you to not be able to hang out with me and my friends. But it was too late because, when you're standing outside looking in, you have a better perspective of what's really going on. When you're in that relationship, you never really realize how bad it really is. He was just texting me like, hey, how long are you gonna be there? It was literally only an hour. I was even kind of scared to be like, oh, I don't know what time I'm coming. I don't know how long I'm gonna hang out with my friends. I would literally be like, oh, soon, just so I can kind of give myself more time and give him more time until he really, really got mad. And I remember my friends were like, oh, now you have to leave because I want you to leave, right? And I was like, no, it's not that. It's, and then I started using the excuse of like, no, he's doing my room and I don't want to just leave him there and I don't want to seem unappreciative. Knowing that was a damn lie. I was scared. The next little story that I have for you guys is, fast forward to my room already being done, remodeled. It was so nice. We would have like movie nights or like dinner nights, and we would just be like, my room was so small and cozy, so it was like perfect. Like just like the TV was right there, and like we were just laying there, and it was a good time until this day came. It was in April again, so now we're a whole year after. This is a whole year later. We're in April, and it's my cousin's birthday, and on top of that, my cousin is a DJ at this club. So he invited our entire family, obviously, to be there. And my family's huge. I mean, I come from a big Mexican family and we're all really close and we're always there for each other. So when he invites one, it's like we literally take over like one whole floor in that. We took over, I think, I'm not even lying. I'm not exaggerating. One whole room in that one club. Mom was invited. I was obviously invited. And so was Riley. I asked him like, hey, do you want to come with me? It's my cousin's birthday. And he's like, nah, I'm tired. I don't really want to go. I've had like a long day. I really need to like stay here. And if you could stay, I would really like that. And I looked at him and I was like, well, no, I'm leaving because I told my family that I was going. And if you don't want to go, then you can stay. And again, my mom comes and she's like, Nelly, how can you leave him here? Again, nobody in my family had a clue, not even an idea that he was this kind of person, because in front of everyone else, he was a freaking saint. Like, he was an angel. He was still using his charm personality. He was still very outgoing, very well accepted anywhere that he was going to places or whenever he would meet new people. Because, by the way, he would go out with his friends and have a great time. And then there were times where I wanted to even... Sorry, I'm going off track a little bit. But there were times where I even wanted to go out with him, and I would like invite myself and I'd say, oh, his friends' names. And I'd say, oh, are your friends going? Which, by the way, within that year, I've only met them, I think, once or twice. Never after that, because he started telling me that he felt uncomfortable, that I was around them, and that he didn't trust his friends, and that he just didn't trust that they would respect our relationship and all this crap, right? And look at me, I'm getting all angry again. As much as he was part of my world, I wanted to be part of his world too. Like, I craved that because, again, my crazy ass was like, he's still the person. He's still someone that I want to be with. I don't know how. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Anyway, by the time that it was my cousin's birthday, I had already turned 24 because I'm older than him by like a month or so. I mean, duh, right? I'm in March, he's in April. So I was already, this 24 years. Ooh, I did this eyeliner way too thick. He's like, no, like, why don't you just stay with me? Like, don't you see all these things that I do for you? That worked. I'm not gonna lie. When he would do that, I'd be like, fuck, okay, am I being ungrateful? Am I really being this ungrateful person that he's saying? And I know I'm not an ungrateful person. So when he would say that, to prove to him, I would literally stay and do whatever he needed me to do. It's my family, and I want to hang out with my family. Like, I hardly even hang out with my family anymore because he's always needing me. He's always appreciating if I were to stay with him and not do anything, right? All the time. I mean, like, that was it all the time. I stopped dancing. I stopped performing. I stopped going to socials, which was like the whole, like, dancing community. That's what we would do. I stopped doing all of that. I stopped wearing certain things because he would say he didn't like them. I even told my cousin one day, like, no, I can't wear that because Riley isn't gonna like it. She looked at me and she said, what? Since when do you care about people think about what you wear? But anyway, back to the story. So then what do? I get ready, and my mom's letting me use her red little Nissan. She still had it, by the way. That car has lasted her forever, and I think it's barely dying. So I'm driving out of my back gate, and then all of a sudden I see Riley in front of the car, slamming his hands down, saying, get out of the car right now. You're not going. And I said, you move before I hit you. Was I going to hit him? No, but when you're upset and you're mad, and when you're in a relationship like this, you just become someone that you don't even know anymore. Like, I became so angry, so on edge all the time. I had a nasty attitude towards anyone and everyone. I was always defensive. I wasn't me anymore. I was not me. I stopped being honest because I was protecting someone that didn't deserve that. I wasn't free anymore, which hurt me the most because it stopped me from being me, and it stopped me growing with other people. It stopped me from doing so many things, and I didn't see myself as a strong person anymore. I fell into all that nastiness that came with that nasty as relationship at the time. And I'm not saying that we didn't have our highs, but that's the thing. When we had highs, there were super highs, and we had lows. There was no real life getting along. We were never on common ground. It was always high and low. I knew that once we were up here, I knew that within a minute we were going to be down here. But when we were up here, I took advantage of that feeling and those words that I would hear coming from him, and then just saying, like, yeah, everything is okay. Everything is going to be okay, because if we could be here, then that means we can work on things. That was a big ass freaking lie that I would tell myself. I wasn't even honest to myself anymore. So yeah, I would say certain things like that to him. I would say certain things like, you know what? You need to get the hell out of the way before I hit you. And when I'm saying these things right now, I'm saying them like calm compared to how I was saying things. I was yelling. I didn't give a care who heard me being this way or who saw me being this way, because in my mind, it was all about revenge. It was all about making him hurt the way he made me hurt, which was just consuming me. It was just taking me. If I were to meet my 23rd, 24th, and 25th-year-old self, I would hug me, and I would tell myself that everything is going to be okay. Everything happens for a reason. You have a purpose. And by the way, you're going to meet someone who is going to understand you, who is going to accept who you are, core, inside and out, and you guys are going to grow together and make each other way better. Okay, maybe I shouldn't do my makeup while I do this, while I do these videos. But yeah, it was just breaking me apart, and I think I was so mad at him that I let him do that. And I know I was mad at myself because I was becoming someone that I know I shouldn't be, or I know I was not. But it happened. And he got out the way. And I ended up going with my family. And then surprisingly, my friends, my dance community was there too, which was, you could imagine the shit. By the way, we didn't even live together. But I heard when I got home, lied to me. How could you do that? Like, you see, this is why I don't trust you. This is why I always have to be there, and I already told you I don't want you to be around them because I don't trust them. And the truth is, I didn't know that they were gonna be there. And I should not. Okay, maybe I'll start eating with these videos. I don't know, but definitely not no more makeup, because this is got me emotional. I didn't even think I was gonna cry. It's something that I made myself go through alone, because I was ashamed, I was confused, I thought I was in love. And ultimately, the way he loved someone is not the way that I love someone. His definition of love didn't match mine. And I remember I would tell him that too. But I would stick around because I would think that it was all gonna work out. It was all gonna be fine. And then I had no idea that what was gonna happen next was ever gonna even happen to me. It's so important to not make a toxic relationship a taboo conversation or a taboo topic. It's not taboo. It's things that happen to anyone. You know, domestic violence does not discriminate ethnicity, religion, age, gender. Growing up, I would always tell myself that I would never allow myself to be in a relationship like that, because like I said, once I would leave that second floor apartment at my mom's home, the world was totally different around me. You know, the things that I saw and heard is where I grew that mentality of I would never, and I will never, ever be in that relationship. And I was, and I ended up being in one, and I was so embarrassed for such a long time, and I was so ashamed, and I was hurt, and I was so confused, and I was in love. I mean, because I guess at that time it was love, right? Was it the kind of love that I wanted to go through? No. Was it the kind of love that I wanted to accept or should have accepted? No. But it was something that at that time it was real, because there was a time where I did feel loved from him, and I felt love for him, but it just resulted in not being the same definition, the same approach, you know, because maybe there are people out there that accept this kind of love. I don't know, but I know for a fact that I didn't want to accept a love like that. And because this type of conversation is made to be such a, oh no, keep it hush hush, because not everyone needs to know these kinds of things. Not everyone needs to know what you're going through. If it's something like this, that is so messed up, because what happens to someone, or what has happened to someone that's kept it hush hush, you know, it leads to physical abuse, and then after that, death. And that's not okay. That is not okay. We need to speak up, and we need to make this kind of conversation a norm, because it can help so many people, so many people. And just a reminder, this is exactly why I am uploading these kinds of videos, because I want to spread awareness. I want to share my strength. I want to share my honesty, and I want to share my freedom. And I just want to let you know that if you ever decide to leave, that it is okay. Nothing can stop you from leaving and saying, I don't want this anymore. So this pretty much concludes this video. And before I leave, just remember to love yourself first, and love yourself unapologetically. And I will see you guys soon. Adios.